G'day guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I want to compare these two particular dive watches representing both, of course, homages to the Rolex Submariner, gold tone with dual steel and black colors here. So on the left here I have the Invicta Pro Diver, in this case represented by my favorite 8927OB, very popular watch, a video that has a lot of hits, so revisit that if you wish to check out the details of the Invicta Pro Diver in 40mm. Against, over on the right here is a more recent watch that I reviewed, again provided by Samuel, local supporter and watch enthusiast who made this watch available, so thanks to Samuel. This is the Armida A2 in 42mm, representing, of course, another homage to the Rolex Sub here. So, they're both dive watches. The Invicta is retailing for around $70. That's what you can really pick it up for, compared to the Armida, which is considerably more expensive, a Hong Kong produced product. The MSRP is $350 USD, but realistically you can often pick it up for a 15% discount. So that brings it down to about the $300 USD is what many people seem to have paid for this. They both have 316L steel, of course, screw-in case backs and crowns, and 200 meter or more water resistant. In fact, the Armida is 300 meter resistant, unidirectional 120 click dive style bezels, and very loom performance. In fact, the Armida is considerably better, I would say. So how does the budget Invicta compare to the surprising quality of the Armida? Let's get into it and check it out. So first up here, we have the caliber. Now they both have the Seiko NH35A. You've heard a lot about this caliber before, 24 joules, 21/600 beats per hour, Japanese movement. So I'm not going to say any more about it. They are identical movements, nothing more to quibble. I've given 7 to the Invicta in the past, so I've given 7 to the Armida today. Next up, design. Okay. So I think I've spoken about the Invicta a lot. It's a well executed homage, very well done. But I think the Armida has just taken the design a little bit further. It's given a better loom. This is BGW9 Super Luminova, so definitely a better loom with a larger application. This one approximates the Rolex Maxi dial, whereas the Invicta is more the more the vintage style original case, from the late 80s to the early 2000s, I believe they ran this type of case. So that one has definitely better loom. I think overall it's got a better bezel. The Invicta is not bad, but this bezel is just very solid, and it's really, it's almost too solid. If you don't grab it by the coinage there, it's very difficult to turn. So I think that's overall a better dive design, in terms of what it comes with. They're both, of course, the shape and case and all that taken from Rolex. So that part's identical, but I think overall the bezel and the loom is better there. So I've given 8 to the Armida, 7 as what I've given to Invicta in the past. Okay, next up, quality. Now, look, the Invicta is not fancy. It's solid, right? It's a nicely made case, really. They do the transitions between brush and polish. It's pretty solid, and the finishing is not bad for the 70 that you pay. But Armida, I've really been quite surprised with this. They do edge ahead. The finishing, I think, undoubtedly is better, right? They've gone for polished on the top and sides here, but if you look at the brushing closely on the bracelet, for example, right, it's really a finer finishing, and they've gone for polish for the gold centers there. Overall, just looking at the edging, right, look at the edge finishing on the case back, right? They've got an edge on the crown for the A there. I think overall, look, the quality, no doubt Armida is extra. They've also gone for screw links rather than push pins, and they've given sapphire. So, I think this is absolutely no controversy. The Armida does have a better quality overall product. 8 for Armida, 7 for Invicta for what I've given it before. Next up, right, styling. Okay, I'm not going to say much more about this, right? Some people just have a strong feeling against Rolex sub homages, right? Okay, they're both looks that have been stolen, right? No question about that. The differences only lie in the size, right? 42 versus 40. So, you can look at it and you immediately see there's a size difference. And then the dial layout. So Invicta does have an applied brand logo and name. Armida is printed. Invicta does have the 4 lines of text at the bottom there, which is kind of like what Rolex does. Armida is cleaner. They've just put 300 meters there. So some people may prefer that. In fact, I probably do prefer that, and as well as the black date disc, this time in 430 position. And the hands are different design, you know, they're not the Mercedes, they're more the vintage sub-style hands. So it's kind of your preference. I probably am more partial towards the look like the Armida, but you know, I've given 8 for both. You know, I'm not going to separate them in the overall styling there. Okay, next up, performance. Okay, Invicta is a serviceable diver, right? No question about it. You know, this watch has served me very well in various water situations, swimming, you know, diving, just skin diving to shallow depths. It has no problem, and it probably will service fine, you know, to recreational scuba diving depths, to almost anything you want to do. And you know, it's got that you know, pretty well made bezel. I just think the Armida is better. The lume on Invicta, I've spoken on this before, right? It's not very good lume. Armida, I think, has to take the edge here, right? It does have a higher water resistant rating, and they do seem to describe a lot of thorough testing, so it does give some confidence in it. It's got a better bezel, right? And it's definitely got better lume. So I have to say, performance-wise, as a diver, you have to give it to the Armida, right? 8 I've given to Armida, 7 to Invicta. Again, same as what I've given it to before. All the marks for Invicta are taken from previous reviews. I have not changed any of the scores for the Invicta, so the new marks are just for the Armida. Next up, versatility. Okay, so right, the styling's the same, but I think the Invicta does come across as more versatile because, really purely because of the size factor, right? This one, because of the good finishing, is also more blingy. It's also bigger, and it's more eye-catching. I think it's less suitable in more formal occasions. This one, you're able to sneak it in a bit more. Strictly speaking, you shouldn't wear a diver, certainly not a jewel tone gold and steel one. You might have to get away a bit more if you just have a black and white one, but you know, I think no doubt this one does sneak in a bit better than the larger, more blingy Armida. All right, so hopefully you don't think that's too controversial as well. Versatility, 8 for Invicta, 7 for Armida. Durability, well, look, I have to give it to the Armida here. Look, they're both the same material, right? 316L steel, aluminium bezel insert. The Armida is just more solid. It's definitely a heavier watch, right? 165 versus about 145 grams for Invicta. So it's definitely more substantial. And you got the sapphire on top versus mineral glass on the left here. So you got to give it to the Armida. I've given 8 to the Armida and 7 to Invicta. Okay, so that's durability. Next up, value. Okay, Invicta, again, I've left it at 9. Right, for $70, what better can you get? It's very, very difficult to find better for the price here, right? It's just excellent. I think for the same movement, the fact that you're paying 4 times the price for the Armida, no doubt you get more watch, and there is a quality factor and various other things, but for value, right, I think Invicta is very difficult to beat. So I've given 7 for the Armida mainly because you're getting a Seiko movement, right? For the 300 plus mark, you might expect a slightly better one, maybe a higher grade Seiko or Miyota, but it is the same movement in these two. So 9 value for Invicta. I've given 7 for Armida, which is fair value, but definitely the Invicta takes it on this category here. Brand. Okay. So Invicta, right, I'm not going to say much more about this. I've described the issues before. Too many watches, you know, pricing policy, which is a bit ridiculous. I think this MSRP is about 315 when you're actually paying realistically 70. I think that's a bit ridiculous, and the people have criticized Invicta for various other issues. But, you know, they are what they are. They do put out fantastic quality pieces, and I've given 7 for the brand in the past to Invicta, and I'm sticking with that. Armida, okay, look, they are a Hong Kong brand. but they're unashamedly stating that up front. You know, they're not pretending to be anything apart from that. And they do seem very fair, and they do have some original looking pieces. They have quite a lot of pieces now, and some of them look pretty original and pretty good quality. Certainly this piece, no doubt about the quality that they've put out here. So, you know, I think they've got something behind them. So I've chosen to give an 8 for Armida as a brand factor here. Okay, last up, X Factor. Right, I have to differentiate this, right? The Invicta, I think, is the best homage under $100, right? You're going to be very hard to find a better sub-homage under $100. I don't think that one exists, actually, that will compete with this. I think Armida put forth a very good product. It just falls a little bit short on value here because, you know, of the price that they're charging for this particular piece with that Seiko movement. Otherwise, everything else about this has been quite impressive. So X Factor wise, I've given 8 for both of them. Okay, so those are the scores. What is the total? Right, it's pretty close. It's very, very close. I think the Armida just edges ahead, but, you know, I think they both have their strengths and their place in one's, I guess, collection and buying choices. So, you know, in summary, like two solid sub-homage divers, you know, they're very good offerings and very fair. They both have the same movement, so they got the same mark. They have the same style elements, so same mark on that. The Invicta edges ahead on versatility and sheer value. But, you know, the Armida takes it on various other categories, including dive design, performance, overall quality, and durability, because it's just more solid with the sapphire there. So guys, there we go. That's my comparison of the Invicta Pro Diver versus the Armida A2. Let me know what you think. You know, it's been an interesting two watches to compare, and I found this quite engaging to try to, you know, tease out the differences between these two. If you have either of these or both, I'd like to hear your thoughts. Guys, if you enjoy my videos, do consider subscribing. I'm putting out new content weekly, always aiming to be objective and unbiased about all things horology. Thank you for sticking with me, and as always, I will catch you next time.